The biggest excuse I always gave myself to not delusionally pursue a goal is because I always assumed that these delusional people like Kobe, Kanye, Steve Jobs were more talented than I was. And I assumed that because Kobe was 6'6" and built to play in the NBA, and Kanye's mind was wired to be a producer, a musician, Steve Jobs' mind was wired to be a businessman and entrepreneur, that I couldn't do it, and the reason that they were exceptional is because of their talent. But if Kobe never fucking pursued to be an NBA player, that dude could be an accountant, a 6'6", lanky accountant who never achieved their dreams because they never pursued it. Kanye, by looking at him first glance, you would never think that man is as much of a genius as he is lyrically. Same with Steve Jobs. These are just normal looking individuals. The only reason that they achieved their goals is because they pursued it with a delusional belief in themselves. With that being said, that's kind of my opener. I'm gonna go into some working sets today. I'm gonna video just my top sets and then I'm gonna go back into my points. So right now I'm gonna go into some flat chest dumbbell press and then I'll go into my second point. First point. This is my first time doing dumbbell press in a fat minute, so don't know how this is gonna turn out. Thank you, sir.
Go. Yep.
This damn bar is in the worst place.
Yeah, I know. Go.
Dude, this came off and then I hit the bar every set. I was too far back. Thank you, Bubs. Okay, so that did not go as planned at all. I was too far back on the bench. I was hitting this guy and my elbow strap on the left side came off. So give me a second and then I'll go into the first prompt.
It hit his third leg, but he would have gotten 6 or 7 reps.
Okay, so the first point is manifestation is action, embodied commitment. The way that you get this delusional belief in yourself isn't from manifesting it with words, it's manifesting it with actions. It's believing that if you row the boat blindly, God is going to steer it, okay? You have to stop saying, you know, I'm trying to manifest this in my life, and I believe in speaking it out into the world, and I believe that putting it out in the world is important, but if you're not also grabbing your purpose and grabbing your goal physically and putting your hands on something each day that is going to deter you towards your goal, then you're not gonna manifest shit. You can't just sit there and say something's going to happen. There's power in the tongue, but there's power in action as well. I can't just say, hey, I'm gonna hit a 315 bench and then assume that if I go to the gym once, twice a month, all of a sudden that outcome is going to happen. I don't research how to become a better bencher, what it takes to become a better bencher, and building a system that would force me to become a better bencher and following that day by day. If I don't build a system that implements habits and a daily routine that's gonna push me towards a goal, then being delusional doesn't mean shit. Manifesting with your words doesn't mean shit. If you don't put anything to action, then you're not going to curate a life that you wanna live. Take Steph Curry, for example. This guy's stuffed in a 6'2" body. He has no idea he's gonna be the greatest shooter of all time. And yeah, give yourself this excuse, oh, his dad played in the NBA, he had these trainers around him since he was young. Whatever excuse you want to make up, you're going to find it. But Steph Curry could have been like, hey, maybe basketball isn't meant for me. I'm in a smaller body. I went to Davidson, a smaller school. Maybe I'm not meant to play in the NBA, or maybe I'm just meant to be a role player or an average guy. But I guarantee you he pursued basketball every single day with the intention of becoming the greatest player of all time, and probably with the intention, even as specific as becoming the greatest shooter of all time. And he wouldn't have achieved it if he would have said, hey, I'm in a fucking accountant's body and I'm most likely going to be curated and stuck in a life that I don't want to live because this is the frame that God dealt me. And yeah, if you can pursue basketball with everything you have and it doesn't work out, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that is wasted growth, because you can always take something positive from pursuing something with a heavy intention. And if it doesn't work out, that doesn't mean that it's the end of the fucking world. It means you have to deter to a goal that's different, and you have to put that same intensity into a different dream and pursue it. From here, I'm going to another form of bench press, probably incline, and I'm going to talk about part 3, which is inevitability. In order to truly believe that a goal is not only obtainable, but inevitable, you might have to step into this identity or this role or this version of yourself that lives life differently. They wake up every morning early. They spend 3 hours on content instead of 1 hour on content. They go to the gym every day. They do the steps that are necessary in order to achieve that goal, to where they manifest it into becoming inevitable. And the time is never going to change. You're never going to get more time in a day. You're never going to get less time in a day. You are going to have the time that you have every single day, and you can either put it towards growth or you can put it towards something negative. And sometimes growth might seem like nothing's happening, but usually growth is basically invisible, and then all of a sudden everything in your life will change. So you have to pursue that goal with the intent and with the delusional mindset that you've already achieved it. And if you yourself, you can't put yourself in that frame to think you could achieve that and do that, then fucking change who you are. Change who you are and envision a person that has achieved the goal that you want. Somebody who, because for whatever goal you have, somebody's already achieved it in some realm. Look at that person, see how they've achieved it, and whatever you envision that they had to do on a day-to-day basis, that's what you have to do yourself. So go and manifest it, but not by just speaking it out, by going and literally grabbing your fucking goals by the nuts, man. You have to do it if you want to do it. You have to think it if you want to think it, and you have to pursue it if you want to have the goal. And don't be stuck on the outcome of the goal. Don't be stuck on, if I don't hit my goal, then maybe I did something wrong. Be focused on the progress and the process, and if your goal is something that's meant for you and aligned with God's outcome for your life, then your path is going to lead to you becoming a better person. So pursue that goal. I have one more point. That is, my fourth point is belief doesn't matter as much as structure does. Before I get into that, I'm gonna go ahead and do my last working set here. Give me a second. Okay, before I go into my fourth and final point, I just want to say what I think is by far the most important message for today is you guys have to get out of your head. You have to stop being such a negative individual and thinking, poor, pitiful me, because God keeps testing you. And I know people saying that God's testing you is good and it leads to your growth, and it's really hard to see that at times because I myself am not able to look at some shitty scenarios and think, oh, God's just testing me right now. But the more that I've tried to grow as an individual, I realize that pain and suffering is a part of life. And if you're not able to accept it, it will let it consume you and it will take over your life and make you a bitter and miserable person to be around. But if you're able to look at it as, this happened to me because I asked to be stronger. This happened to me because I asked for this. And these tests are coming to me because it will allow me to become the person that I'm meant to become. We all have different walks in life, and if God is testing you in a really specific way, and He's continuously testing you in this one way because that's your walk. If you overcome that, that's how you start to take steps towards becoming the man that you're supposed to be, or woman that you're supposed to be. And I think that we can't grow as individuals unless we overcome these tests, and we have to be thankful for them. Not only upset and think like, oh, I have to overcome this test again. Why do you keep testing me, God? You have to think, thank you, God, for testing me in this way, because now that I was able to realize how much I messed up in the past doing this and how I'm able to overcome it now. Not only am I able to face it better in the future, but if my kids face it, if my girlfriend faces it, if my parents face it, if anyone that I care about or don't care about, a stranger, whomever, if somebody faces that same problem that you've gone through, then you are going to be able to give them advice and help somebody else. And you never know what type of purpose you truly have unless you can accept and welcome the hardships in a way that being thankful for them is really tough, but knowing that it's a byproduct of progress. So I'm gonna go into one more chest movement, and then I'll be back and give you guys the final point. Okay, before I go ahead and go into chest, I want to leave you guys with this final message just because I kind of have to hurry things up and get back to work. So I know this is like beating a dead horse, but I want to beat structure into you because habit is extremely important, but you can build the negative habits. If you're posting every single day without the intention to grow and make better content, then you're walking in place. You're not doing anything to make yourself or your content or whatever you're pursuing better. So you have to have a structure, and you have to have a formula, and you have to have a system that, like I mentioned earlier, with a 315 bench, I'm not going to blindlessly or aimlessly walk into the gym without any type of structure. I'm not going to say, hey, I'll go this week, maybe I'll go tomorrow, maybe I'll go in a month from now. Whenever I go in there, I'm not going to focus on my form. I'm not going to try to perfect my form. I'm not going to watch videos on how the best powerlifters in the world bench. I'm just going to go in and blindlessly try to achieve this goal. And you might still get it some way, somehow, but the percentage of you doing it and the likelihood drops dramatically. So with that being said, you have to form habits, but they have to be positive ones. And the only way that you figure out if something is negative or positive is by consistently pursuing it and looking at how it is either growing. It's either going to be negative or positive. And if somebody asks you if you have a negative or positive habit, you can almost always be able to point out if it is or isn't. Only you know if that habit is benefiting you in a positive way. And I guarantee you, if you're watching this video right now, you most likely haven't achieved the goals that you want and you're not seeing the progress that you want. And the only way that you're going to get there is by changing something and stepping into that identity and that role of the man or woman who's already achieved that goal. And you already know what you have to do. We almost all already know what we have to do, especially with content. We know what it takes to be able to be successful. And I used to get myself in the headspace of thinking that Kai Cenat or Aiden Ross or whomever, all these streamers or all these influencers got lucky because they had one video blow up. And that mindset is self-sabotaging, because if you're saying so-and-so got lucky, or Kobe, Kanye, Steve Jobs, these people have talent that I could never have, all you're doing is putting yourself in a box and not realizing, hey, we're all the same species. We all have this purpose to be here on earth, and I believe through my faith that God put us here for a reason. And if you're not trying to overcome your hardships, if you're not trying to pursue something, then you're going to feel empty inside. Now, you can't just say, hey God, I have faith in you, and then whenever something bad happens, react in a way that shows that you don't trust him or believe in him. So in the same way with life, if you are trying to pursue something and you're blindly rowing and not trusting God to steer, then you're gonna row in fucking circles, man. You have to put yourself in a position and step into that reality and step into that identity of somebody who has already achieved the goal. So be delusional, chase your dreams, man. I know this might sound corny and this might have not been the best message in the world, but I really appreciate you guys watching this far. And if you have watched this far, then you care enough to put words into action. So click off this video, get off of YouTube, get off of TikTok, get off of Instagram, wherever you're watching it, and go actually put your words and your thoughts into action and stop trying to manifest it, okay? As always, thank you guys so much for watching and have a blessed one.